In this video, we're going to go over an introduction to lists. As you can see in our Excel form, we have vendor names and we have a month of December written in Spanish. What we want to do is populate a invoice similar to the one you see here with the name of the vendor, the month, and the random number generated. A more in-depth version of lists will be covered in detail in a later video. So in Foxtrot, what we're going to do is click on our project bar and add a list. So in order to create our custom list, first we're going to name it. So we'll name this one our vendors, and we'll add a column. So here you can put in the name of what you want your column named, and the option to keep the window open in order to add multiples at one time. So here we added the name and the number of our vendors, and we're going to move over and add a row. And you can do the same thing with your row as you did for your columns. So here we'll put a different value depending upon if they're random 1 or random 2. So now we have a custom list made of those two names and those two numbers. So when we go down and click OK, in our project pane, you will see that our list has been created. What we'll do now is we'll go back to our project pane and add another list. And what this one will be is the Spanish months. So what we'll do is we'll add a column for the name of the Spanish name of the month, English name of the month, and the Danish name of the month. And when we're done, we can deselect the keep window open and click OK, and that will end creating our columns. Now we'll go over and add our rows. So our rows, the first one's going to be a Spanish name. We'll put the second one in for the English name and the third one in for the Danish name. And when we click OK, notice how we populate our list with those months and their names. So we'll go down and we'll click OK, and you'll see that we have two lists created on our right-hand side in Foxtrot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Data tab and go down to Create Variable. And we're going to create a variable called vendor name and add our notation. We're going to copy that action and paste it and just do an edit action to change the vendor name to month name. And then we'll change our notation from vendor name to month name. Now when we click Run, our variables will be created, and we can now target our cells in Excel. So we'll do a get value action, and we'll save that to our variable called vendor name. And we'll add a notation on the bottom saying that we're retrieving the vendor name, meaning we're taking it from Excel. So we'll copy and paste that action, and then we're just going to edit it and change the column. So instead of grabbing our vendor name, we're going to grab our month name. And then we'll change our notation on the bottom from vendor to name as well, and then execute that action. So now both of our variables are created, and both of them have been populated with a value. So now we're going to take our targeter, and we're going to go ahead and target our Word document. And we're going to send a value, which is going to equal the invoice title that we're going to do. So we'll type in that we have an invoice from these vendors, and we'll hit a colon, and what we're going to do is input a token to represent that value. So first we're going to enter an enter key, which will put our text on the following line, and we'll put a name and a colon, click on our variables, and we're going to click on our vendor name, which inserts our token, and then the number, which we're then going to go to our list and look at vendors. So we're going to select the vendors under list. And what we're going to do is we're going to look for our variable name. So we're going to look for where it says random one in our list in column under the name, and we're going to retrieve the number that's in that list. Now, when we click add, you'll see at the bottom, you'll see the token that is created for the list lookup. So that will retrieve our number for our invoice. So after that, we'll put a comma, and then we're going to put the month. So here we're going to access our Spanish months, and we're going to look for the month name. So we're going to delete vendor and put in month. We're going to look for the month in the Spanish name and retrieve the English name. So when we click add, that token for the list lookup will be created. So if you look down on the bottom of our preview, we'll see the sentence, we have received an invoice from these vendors, the enter moving it to the next line, the name random one, number 123 for the month of December. And we'll add our notation. So this allows us to look in the list for the information that we have and retrieve different information from that list. Now when we click OK, it's going to populate our lines in Word and give us the value that we need. Now if we change random 1 to random 2, we'll be able to access the other number that was in our list when we execute our script. So here we'll click rewind. And we're going to delete all variables so we can start back at the beginning. So we'll hit the double rewind button, adding us to the very beginning of the script, maximize our speed, and push play. And we have the opposite. We have random 2 populated instead of random 1 with the different number. I'd like to thank you guys for watching and tune in later for more videos.